hangmansnews.com again today. We are going to go over some of the headlines here on hangmansnews.com today. And we have TSA flags 18-month-old baby as terrorist, forces family to disembark plane, J.D. Hayes. Toddler appears on the terror list suspect, no-fly list. Sorry, that was terrorist suspect, no-fly list. So, yeah, now toddlers are on the terrorist list. I've never seen anything to that. The people who ran those gray planes with a pod attached to it into the trade centers, I've never seen them on such a list. But that's probably because they are making those lists. That would make a lot of sense. Toddlers would be on them though, of course. The TSA likes to stick their hands down there. Sorry, that was very out of what I was going to say. Okay, and we have NSA and Google keep silent about how they work together to spy on us. Suzanne Puzzle. Judge cities national security in blocking disclosure of Google and NSA ties. So these are news that will be updated on hangmansnews.com every day because of this RSS feed that we are tapping into. So basically these are InfoWars news. Alright, that said, we have here Panetta. There is an Queda presence in Syria. Weekly Standard. Pentagon warmongers redefine Al-Qaeda to suit their purposes. So, and then the last one we're going to cover, well, I'm going to read you two more headlines here. GM superbugs mutate in India, rendering antibiotics impotent and spreading. Jonathan Benson. The genes responsible for spawning these so-called superbugs are also spreading. And then the last one, New York Times openly admits domestic terror plots masterminded by the FBI, J.D. Hayes. The agency itself is responsible for hatching the plots. So again, where are they on these terrorist lists and no-fly lists and no-gone-by lists? Well, again, they're probably the ones writing those lists. Probably the same guys who have people on the lists to go to these FEMA camps. And not long ago we just saw this incredible bunch, 380 pages of this training manual for prison guards for the FEMA camps. And it turns out these FEMA camps are obviously for the American people. So to all of you who didn't wake up out there yet, it's time to wake up. It's time to check into this. If you want to learn more about this document that got leaked here about last week, you will find that under the Alex Jones show, and that was Thursday show last week. So well, this is kind of upsetting. I mean, I think I gotta have to have a secret. I mean, this is just too much, man. I am trying to report on these news, you know, and even though I know it, you know, just to talk about it, it's blowing my mind. And here's what I'm going to do to calm down here. Sorry for smoking here on screen, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And I'm not that photogenic. I'm not that much of a TV person. You see my improvised studio here that I'm using today here, because we on hangmansnews.com, we are not funded by the Bilderbergs, we're not funded by the Rothschilds or JP Morgan. We are not funded by the New World Order. We are actually funded by ourselves. We're not even listener and viewer funded. We actually fund ourselves by working and also trying to get a little bit self-sufficient. We're trying to grow a little bit of our own food, and we also have jobs, and that's how we fund this operation. But we just got approved by Google and YouTube for YouTube partnership the other day, so hopefully some of you will support us by actually clicking on those links. So well, here you have these today's headlines, and yeah, we're going over them in a second. Alright, we're going over this article. Panetta, there's an Al-Qaeda presence in Syria. And this is the Weekly Standard, weeklystandard.com. And this is May 13, 2012. Panetta, there's an Al-Qaeda presence in Syria. Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta confirmed on Friday that Al-Qaeda has a presence in Syria. At a briefing at the Pentagon with the chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff, Panetta was asked by a reporter, Secretary Panetta, if I may, on Al-Qaeda in Syria. You've said that we won't have any indication of Al-Qaeda in that. Those double explosions that took place in Damascus. But what kind of assessment do you have on Al-Qaeda activity in Syria? Because the Syrian government confirms that Al-Qaeda is active in Syria, do you have an indication to say that Al-Qaeda is actually active? How big is it, and is it a concern for you? So this is the question Secretary Panetta was asked. Panetta responded by confirming the terrorist group's presence, but provided few details. That is, Panetta responded by confirming the terrorist group's presence. And this is what we have coming out from a lot of sources. People in Syria saying that Al-Qaeda is there. We saw Dennis Kucinich confirming Al-Qaeda raising their flags in Libya after NATO has been bombing out the whole country, helping Al-Qaeda. And who was we fighting after 9/11? Oh, that was Al-Qaeda. And like Dennis Kucinich said, it's time to get our story straight. And it is embarrassing to be part of a country that's in this alliance when all of this is going on. I mean, this is war crime, treason. And just to look at the way the media covers this, to justify this so-called war on terror, who's it against? Is it against Al-Qaeda? Who are they going to help in Syria now? Isn't that Al-Qaeda? So, we made a clip earlier, and that was by Syrian girl, and she was even on the Alex Jones show talking about how CIA is Al-Qaeda. So, in the next article we're going to cover here is New York Times openly admits domestic terror plots masterminded by the FBI. So it's obviously not just Al-Qaeda, it's obviously also Al-FBI. So, yeah. And, I mean, I should play a clip on screen for you. I think I'm just gonna do that. Alright. So, the clip that we're going to show you now is world's extra equipment attached to Flight 175, the plane that struck the South Twin Tower on 9/11. And you can pull it up on YouTube and watch it for yourself. For now, we're just gonna film the screen here just to give you an idea, because it's not just these two headlines right here that Panetta is admitting that Al-Qaeda is in Syria, and that Kucinich admits that Al-Qaeda, or questions that Al-Qaeda is raising their flag in Libya after we have bombed out the country. And it's not just that New York Times, finally, mainstream media is starting to admit that FBI has been, let me get the exact quote here, that New York Times openly admits domestic terror plots masterminded by the FBI. It's not just that, you see. And it was also an X-Files episode that was made about declassified documents about 9/11 being a government plan. I mean, how much do you need? I mean, what's going to take for people to wake up? But alright, we're going to play this clip.
There was definitely a blue logo with like a circular logo on the front of the plane.
We're going to play some of it.
Towards the front. It definitely did not look like a commercial plane.
The plane wasn't no airline or anything. It was a twin-engine, big gray plane.
When I first saw the appendage on Flight 175, this extra piece of equipment, I was looking at the Evan Fairbanks footage, which is kind of bluish, and it's from the underneath. It's off-centered on the fuselage. It's between the engines. It casts its own shadow. It has its own reflection. And when I saw this, I thought somebody's had to have photoshopped this, and I wanted to get other sources to make sure that it wasn't just a product of Photoshop. It was in all the CNN footage when you took their videos and did freeze frames. It was definitely a three-dimensional piece of equipment. It definitely has nothing to do with Photoshop, and it shouldn't be there.
Anybody can see the other piece of equipment right there in the center line on the starboard side of that fuselage. It can't be anything other than an external piece of equipment.
Looking for more video evidence, right at ground zero, Deb Simon and I went down to New York City one day and buying all the pictures from street vendors we could find. We found a picture, which I believe is Rob Howard's photograph, but it was a 35mm print. And I was tickled because you could clearly see, the appendage on the bottom. This is not normal for an aircraft. This is not normal for what we should be seeing on Flight 175.
All the recorded sources, all the different photographic evidence that was produced by CNN and ABC, they all show this pod. It's there. You can see it with your own eyes, and in my professional opinion, that there was a pod attached to the bottom of that aircraft, and therefore it was not United Airlines Flight 175.
I've never seen the pictures that he's shown the things attached to the bottom of the plane, so if it's a commercial airliner, I don't understand why they would have anything attached to the bottom of the plane. That doesn't seem to make any sense.
And the next article that we're going to put up on screen for you here is New York Times openly admits domestic terror plots masterminded by the FBI. So, just gonna read a little bit from it. This is written by Natural News. That's Mike Adams from, who also works at Infowars.com. He's a reporter. May 13, 2012. Natural News. If it seems as though the FBI is making a large number of terror busts these days, maybe it's because the agency itself is at least partly responsible for hatching the plots. That has some political observers wondering if the FBI strategies are making the best use of the nation's limited counter-terrorist resources. In recent months, FBI agents have arrested suspects who were planning a range of terrorist attacks, from shooting Stinger missiles at military aircrafts to driving van loads of explosives into crowded events. But these amazing cases might not ever have been made in the FBI itself wasn't themselves planning the attacks. So, and it goes on and on. It refers to a New York Times article, this Sunday Review. It was published April 29, 2012. So you can go and pull it up yourself. The title is Terrorist Plots Hatched by the FBI. So that's basically it for this broadcast, and thank you for tuning in. And please excuse us for our improvised studio. We're actually trying to build up a chroma key studio here, and that's why it looks so ridiculous. But we're doing the best out of what we've got available right now. And these news, they must come out, and hope you can bear with us. I hope you will go to hangmansnews.com, click on the commercials if you find anything that you need in there. So and also we have become a YouTube partner, so you also have the option of supporting us that way if you find something you want. So please support us. We're going to put it back in the operation here. As you see, we have a lot of things we would like to buy, like a chroma key, a green screen. For now we are going to have to do with this white screen, which is not really the best. We need to upgrade our machine park. We have 5 computers here that are pretty outdated. We need new camera. This one is obviously not the best quality. We need better lighting. We need furniture. And you, the viewers, are making this possible, as well as of course ourselves. We're putting our savings into this operation. So please follow us on hangmansnews.com. This is Aryu signing off.
The news was brought to you by hangmansnews.